Hey guys, so glad to be here. Can we give the worship team another hand? So good, so good. Well, you know, if you've been coming here, Pastor Rick has been doing a great series on the promises of God and how everything God has for us, He tells us what He's going to do with us and for us. And if you heard Pastor Buddy Owen's talk last week on the promises of God in terms of guidance, like where do I go, where's my decision, and all that, you got to watch that. I watched it online. It was wonderful. We're now going to talk about God's promises also in this same series for some daily, kind of really practical, essential needs that all of us have. We have needs for energy, and we have needs for positivity, a positive mood, and resilience when there's challenges and you got to get yourself back up. So I'm going to be speaking on what the Bible says about how to get those things: energy, positivity, resilience. I'll be speaking from the information from my new book, People Fuel, which says, you got to get full. See, you don't want to be over here. That's bad. You can be over here where it's full. And how to do that. So first off, let's talk about energy. Now, is there anybody here that could use a little more energy? Raise your hand. Okay, we all do. Well, I saw 4 people. You didn't raise your hands, and you're in denial is what we call that, because we could all use energy. I mean, the only group that really qualifies to say, I've got too much energy, you could siphon my energy off, you could sell in the black market, I've got so much energy. Only one group. 3-year-old children. 3-year-old children. If you're a parent, you understand that. Anybody else, we need a little more. And then the same is true of positivity. We all could use more of a positive attitude sometimes. And we also could use resilience and sort of get back on the horse when we have things happen to us. Well, God is a provider, that He loves us, and He wants us to have those things, and He provides them and sources us through many, many ways, many, many channels. He gives us the Bible, and the Bible gives us energy and positivity and resilience, and also prayer and reaching out to Him, and also the ministry of the Holy Spirit. And I call those channels the vertical channels because they come directly from God. We reach out to Him and He gives us those things. But we have sort of a problem, is that we forget there's another source He gives us in addition to all the verses we see about the vertical. And I want to talk about that today. And it's what I call the horizontal. And the horizontal is people as a source of God's energy and positivity and resilience. People, like lumpy, bumpy, cellulite-filled people. But there are so many verses about the power we get from people. The cool part about this is not only in the Bible, it's also in the hard science now. Most of what I study these days is neuroscience, the science of the brain. And the cool thing about neuroscience is that every robust, well-done study that comes out of neuroscience basically says the Bible's right. The Bible has it right. All of those passages about love and about faith and about success and about challenge, all the research in neuroscience says, yeah, God had it right thousands of years ago. So I love studying this stuff because God finally gets the credit. Let's give God a hand there for getting the credit in the science. So what we're finding in all this is that it all fits together now. And what we're looking at is that without healthy and supportive relationships, horizontal, bad things happen to us. This is hard science. We don't do well in our careers, and we have more problems in health, just medical health, also in emotional health and relationships, and also a higher mortality rate. So it's a serious thing. It's not like just some kumbaya thing here, luxury. It's hard science. And the Bible has so much to say about the power of the horizontal. Let me give you 5 Bible verses very quickly to show you how powerful the horizontal is. Genesis 2, it is not good that man be alone. Now, that's not a verse about marriage. It includes marriage, but in the Hebrew, it's about relationships in general. God says, hey, I'm setting up a system where the vertical is not enough. I'm also building in the horizontal. Ecclesiastes 4. Woe to you when you fall and there's not another to pick you up. That's not a Jesus pick me up passage. It's a people pick me up passage. Have you ever fallen down emotionally and there wasn't another person to pick you up? Matthew 26. Jesus is on the mountain in his passion. He's sweating great drops of blood, and he is with the Father, and he turns around to three people, Peter and James and John, and says to those people, sit with me, for my soul is very distressed. And here's God talking to God, but he turns around and says, I need the horizontal. 2 Corinthians 7, Paul the apostle is talking about his struggles. And he was beaten and tortured and imprisoned and naked. And he says that God, who comforts the distressed, sent Titus, his disciple, sent Titus to comfort me. Now, God could have sent a Bible verse. He does that all the time. Or a miracle. He does that all the time. Or something from his word or something. But right then, he sent a person, Titus, to comfort him, the horizontal. And then my favorite passage probably in all these, 1 Peter 4:10, which is in your outline at the top, where he says, each of you should use whatever gift you've received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms. God's grace in its various forms. We transfer grace to each other. We are the delivery systems of grace to each other. We're the gas stations of God's grace to each other, the horizontal. But it's hard for us to get in our heads. We kind of don't like it. Most of my work is with leaders and organizations, and so I'm always talking to business owners and CEOs and small business people and senior pastors, and somebody will call me in and say, hey, can you work with this leader? She or he would like for you to work with them. And I'll sit down and I'll say, great, let's spend some time together. Let me get to know you and your vision and, what your strategy is and your alignment and your culture. And I just kind of ask these questions to get to know them. And I'll say, so tell me about your relationships. And they'll say, oh, yeah, you're the relationship shrink. I'm ready for you. And I'll say, well, tell me about them. They'll say, I'm not an isolated leader, okay? Don't write a book on me. I'm not isolated. I say, okay, you're not isolated. Tell me about your relationships. I got a lot of relationships. Okay, tell me about these great relationships. Well, I'm directing these people and guiding these people and mentoring these people, and I'm leading these people, and I've got this division, and I'm helping these people grow. And I go, man, I need a nap. You're doing all this great stuff, but it's all outgo, outgo, outgo. What about the inflow, inflow, inflow? Because you got to have energy to make this engine in your head run. They'll go, I got great inflow. Tell me about it, oh great leader. And they'll say, here's what I've got. They're just kind of competitive people. I'll show you what I got. Yeah. I've got God, and he gives me info. I'll say, fantastic, man. It's great. I've got a great spouse, and she or he loves me when I'm insecure and all screwed up, and I'm got my hang-ups, and I'm guilt-ridden, and I'm discouraged. She or he picks me up. And I'll say, man, we need a great spouse. That's great. And I've got my Labrador Retriever, Max. And Max licks me when I'm down and loves me and never judges me. I go, man, we love Max. It's great. And I'll say, that's your inflow. Yeah. I'll say, let me break that down. I hear this a lot. Number one, that's kind of what God does. He like does that anyway. He loves us. And Max is genetically engineered to be nice to you so that he'll eat. So, I don't know. And your spouse is very tired and exhausted from all of your needs. And about then the spouse walks in and goes, oh, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. I wish they'd get a friend. I hate this, So I'll say, I would call you a nice person with great people, but you're in relational deficit. You're in the red. And you need what I call, in the book, a life team. 3 to 10 people that you can be essentially vulnerable with, very vulnerable with, that love you no matter what, and are for you no matter what. And that's where your energy, positivity, and resilience are come from. You know, we need more gains in our life, and we need less drains in our life. Most of us have a lot of drain relationships and not very many gain relationships. You know how you can tell when you're in a drain relationship versus a gain relationship? It's very easy. As a psychologist, I figured this out. You have lunch with them. And when you have lunch, when you're with a gain, after the meeting you go, man, I feel like I can rule the world. I can take the hill. I got energy. I feel great. That's a gain relationship. When you're with a drain relationship, after lunch, you go, I need a nap. Man, I got sucked so dry on that one. Most of us have a few too many drains and not enough gains. So, this is how it works. I'll just give an example of this. A close associate in my organization, she's like one of our rock stars, very, very talented person. We had our administrative meeting. It was about 45 minutes, and it was about over. And she said, oh, just a couple minutes. Can I ask you one question? I said, sure, what's going on? She goes, am I doing a good job? And I went, you're what? She goes, it's been a bad month, and I'm just kind of beat up. And if I'm doing a bad job, tell me. But I just want to know. And I went, well, thank you for asking. I am so happy, and I know you've had a hard time, but I'm so happy with your talent and your character, and I put my head on my pillow every night, and I can sleep better because you're with us. So thank you for what you do. And she goes, oh, thanks. That was it. Got a text about 8 hours later, and she said, that's pretty much all I needed. Thank you very much. It's that simple, what we need from each other. I have a concept in the book called relational nutrients. And here's the idea. We all know what bionutrients are. You know, it's like we all take more supplements, and we're supposed to eat right and be healthy these days. And if you don't have enough of those supplements, you get sick, right? So if you don't have enough calcium, you end up with bone problems like osteoporosis. If you don't have enough iron, you get another blood disease called anemia, right? And so in the same way, I took that phrase and I said, let's call another thing relational nutrients like bionutrients, except they're what we give each other, but not in a pill form, not like a capsule, but in a conversation with each other, where I transfer a good nutrient to your brain and you transfer it to my brain. And that's how we stay healthy, by the transfer of relational nutrients. In the book, I've got 22 relational nutrients. We don't have time to talk about all 22, but I've got them arranged in 4 categories, which is going to be the substance of our talk, to give you an idea of what we do with them. Because when we transfer them, things get better. And here's the problem. I believe, unfortunately, that probably 95% of us are in relational deficit. We're not getting everything we need from the horizontal for various reasons. We're afraid, or we're ashamed, or we don't want to be a high-maintenance person, but we're in deficit, and it can affect our health. So I want to kind of give you a path to fix all this. So let's go to the outline here where it talks about God's promises through the 4 quadrants of relational nutrients. Quadrant number 1, being present, P-R-E-S-E-N-T, be present with each other. Communicating that we are for each other, but with fewer words. You know, sometimes people blab and try to encourage each other a lot, and they talk and talk and talk, and sometimes it's good to be quiet. You know, one of the few things Job's friends did with him when he was in his suffering was in chapter 2 in Job. It says, his friends sat with him 7 days and 7 nights and did not speak a word to him, for they saw his grief was very great. They were present with him. They were engaged with him emotionally. They were connected to him. Sometimes we need somebody to just be present with us with no advice. Let me give you a story. My wife Barbie and I, when our kids were small, we had other families we hung out with, because you love those families where the chemistry's good and everybody likes each other. And we had these other families, and so we would go on vacation with them. And there was this one family we were with, and having a great time. And one of the daughters in the other family came to me and said, "Can we talk?" And I said, "Sure." She says, "I'm having a hard time." I said, "Tell me about it." She says, "Well, I'm a senior in college now, and I'm a communications major. I'm getting ready to graduate, and I don't have a job." Any communication majors here? Kind of a hard market when you're a communication major. I said, "Well, I'm so sorry. Didn't know that." She goes, "Thanks, but that's not all." I said, "Okay, what else is there?" She said, "Spencer and I broke up." Now, Spencer was mine and Barbie's favorite guy that she dated. We loved him. We went to dinner with him. We thought he was God's guy for her. And I said, "Not Spencer. We love the guy. What happened?" She goes, "Long story. I don't want to go into it, but it's over, and I'm so sad, and I'm a mess, and it's a hard time." I said, "I'm so sorry." She goes, "That's not all." And I said, "What else?" She goes, "I'm not sure I believe in God." And my heart just dropped. Christian family and all this. And I said, "Tell me about that." And she goes, "Well, I'm in a college with 40,000 students, and everybody's got different ideas talking about stuff, and I didn't know all their perspectives, and I'm taking these religion courses. And I'm wondering now, has my faith in Jesus been kind of scotch-taped in my head, from mom and dad, and I haven't owned it and felt it and identified with it? And I'm not sure it's really real, and I'm struggling with this." And I said, "I'm so sorry." Now, I was really, really feeling so much compassion because I knew somebody else in their 20s back in the day who had the same problems. I did. And it was a hard time. So I said, "Look, I'm so sorry about this. Had no idea. I've known you since birth. What can I do to help? I'll do anything." She says, "Well, okay. Fix my mother." I said, "Well, wait a minute. We got God and Spencer and job, and we got what's the connection?" She says, "I'll tell you the connection. Every time I tell Mom about my struggle and all these things, Mom looks at me and she says the following: 'Honey, look at me. You're smart. You're resilient. You're a winner. Feel better.'" Did you guys just feel the Prozac right there? And I went, "That's kind of lame." And they goes, "Well, tell me about it. It's lame." I said, "Well, what do you do?" She said, "I ignore her." I said, "I probably would ignore her too. So what do you want me to do?" She goes, "Fix it, because, you're a shrink and you do that." And I said, "Okay, I'm on vacation. This is great." So anytime you're on vacation, there's always three places where you have the real talks. Place number one is in the kitchen while everybody else is in the dining room. The real talk happens there. Or in the third bedroom upstairs where nobody is. The real talk happens there. Or in the backyard next to the swing. This is what the research tells us. So I grabbed Mom and I said, "Come out to the swing. We got to talk." I said, "Your daughter's in trouble." She goes, "I know." I said, "She's got no God, no boyfriend, no job." She goes, I know. And I said, "She tells me when she talks to you that you tell her that she's smart and resilient and a winner." She goes, I know. I said, "She tells me that she ignores that." She goes, I know. "Fix my daughter." I said, "What am I supposed to fix?" She goes, "Well, you're a shrink. Just whatever you guys do, open up her head, and I've got all these nuggets of wisdom, and slap the wisdom in, then she'll feel better. That's what you guys do." I said, "It kind of doesn't work like that." I said, "Let me tell you a story. Your daughter fell down a well, metaphorically speaking. She fell down the well of loss and trouble and no boyfriend and no God and no job, and it's dark and cold and scary, and she's totally overwhelmed, and she's totally scared, and she's all by herself in this darkness. It's a bad place. And so you're her mom, and you love her, and she's a great mom. But I said, you look over at your daughter, and she's in the well where you are, your vantage point. The sun is shining, and the skies are blue, and Alexa's playing Hillsong. The Bible tells us we have to have Alexa playing Hillsong. And, the clouds are doing Bible verses over here. And you look down at your daughter and you say, honey, you're smart and resilient and you're a winner. Come on up, like Bob Barker, come on up. And she ignores you. She goes, what am I supposed to do? I said, well, I know her husband very well. He's a very close friend of mine. I said, let me tell you what your husband does. He loves her too, like you do, but when he sees her and his daughter's in this well, and it's awful, and he loves her so much, he stands there. And he looks at his daughter in pain. And he jumps in the well, dives into the well, 40 feet down. And he picks up his daughter. I'm going to get a little emotional here. He picks up his daughter and he holds her and he says, it's scary and it's overwhelming and it's dark and it's awful and I've got you. And I've got you until we're ready to come out. I'm in the well with you, and that's why she listens to him and not to you. Mom says, but I don't do that part. I'm advice and wisdom. And I said, I get that. You have a strength. But the problem is you've got your sequence wrong. If you go to John chapter 1, verse 14, it says that Jesus came full of two things, grace and truth. It doesn't say he came full of truth and grace. And there's a reason for the order, because you can't hear the truth until somebody's in the well with you. It's too hard. Have you ever been truthed by somebody? I don't know about your personality or your bad breath or the way you are at work or whatever, but they didn't grace you, even if they're right about it. Have you ever been truthed by somebody, but there was no grace or being in the well? How did you feel about that when you got that truth, that feedback? Most of us feel judged. We feel beat up. We feel shamed, but we don't feel good or welcome, and we don't use that truth. So I told the mom, you got to get better at this because you've got great truth, but it's not the time for it. So she said, I'll work on it, and she did. She's a wonderful person. 6 weeks later, I checked on the family. I called the daughter. The daughter says, oh, Mom and I are talking all the time. And I went, great. I went to the mom. How are you guys doing? Mom said, we're talking all the time. Problem solved. It's a great story. However, I do this talk a lot. It's one of the main stories in the book. And I know that what 90% of us are thinking about right now, 90% of us are thinking, I got to get in the well better. I kind of go to advice and encouragement too quick. I got to get there and do what it says. Like it says in Romans 15:7, accept one another as Christ accepted you in order to bring praise to God. I don't spend more time just accepting. I got to be better about that. It's a good thought. It's a good thought. It's an important thought. But I want to take that thought with you and put it into the parking lot in the back of your head for a minute. You'll get to it later because I have another thought, basically a question I want to challenge you with right now. A different thought. And here's the thought. I want you to ask 6 words, 7 words. Who am I inviting to my well? When I'm stressed, down, discouraged, who am I inviting to my well? Because that's where it all starts. We can't give to other people more until we've got something in our well. But a lot of us don't like that. We want to help other people, encourage other people, only pray about it. And God says, hey, the vertical's great. You're praying to me all the time. What about your horizontal? But we're afraid. We don't want to be high maintenance. And when I work with leaders on this, I'll say, go bring in people into your well and see what happens. And they say, oh my gosh, people said, thank you for asking me to listen to your problems. You give to me all the time. You listen to me all the time. I feel honored. I'm a part of your life. Thank you. It's a good thing. We've got to be better about asking people into our well. You're going to feel selfish. You're going to feel high need. Just don't worry about it. People are waiting to give you God's grace by being present with you in your well of challenge. Quadrant number 2. Conveying the good. The good. Not only do we need the nutrients of being present with each other, we need the nutrients of conveying the good to each other, which is giving words that dispense grace. You know, when you get discouraged and down and you don't believe in yourself and something awful happened, you're out of energy, a lot of times you need somebody just to give you a little shot of, emotional Prozac. It's kind of what we give to each other. Nutrients like affirmation, encouragement, I respect you, I know you're going to make it. I can't tell you about the power of affirmation. I'm just so blown away with it. It's sort of like, I think you ought to, when you see it, you ought to say it. If you see something good, you tell them about it. It's like at TSA when you travel in the airport, and TSA says, if you see it, say it. If you're walking down towards McDonald's and there's a big black bag and something's ticking in it, it's a good idea to see if you see it, say it. Same thing's true with us. Catch each other saying, you were so smart. The way you persevered in that challenge, the way you love people, how good you are at work, how good you are with your kids. If you see it, say it. It's just amazing to me how that works. Years ago, I was riding in an elevator with one of my employees. And it was four flights down. So what's that, 12 seconds? And I was just looking at him. And he was an IT guy. He was in our tech department. Very, very good. But I also noticed he was really good with people skills. He listened well, and he empathized. And I thought, he's talented here. So in that 12 seconds between fourth floor and first floor, I said, by the way, I've just noticed how good you are with people. I know you're a tech guy, and you're talented there, but man, you ought to think about being a counselor. You're so good. And he goes, okay, have a nice day. That was it. About 6 months later, he has a great job. He leaves our firm, finds another firm for a great job. We said, go for it. We love you. So 5 years later, I'm at a party, and I see him at a party. I said, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you forever. How are you doing? He goes, I'm doing great. I said, what in the world's going on? He goes, well, I'm a Christian counselor now. I went and got a master's with a wife and 3 kids, and it was hard. And now I'm a Christian counselor, and I love what I do. And I went, oh my gosh, that is so cool. And he goes, well, I just want to thank you. And I went, whoa, okay, you're welcome, but what do I do? He goes, well, the talk. I go, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. He said, we were in the elevator, and you told me that I ought to think about it. And he said, when I went to lunch, I couldn't get off my head because I love that stuff, and I'm passionate about it. And the fact that you and I have a relationship, you encouraged me. I went out, and I talked to my wife about it. We prayed about it, and 4 years later, I'm a counselor. So thank you very much for what you did. Guys, it was a one-off. It was just a throwaway. You have no idea the power of affirming each other. Like it says in Matthew 25, when God says, well done, good and faithful servant, people need to hear it. Proverbs 16:24, gracious words are a honeycomb, sweet to the soul and healing to the bones. Can't overstate that. Quadrant number 3, besides being present for nutrients and besides delivering the good, we've also got to provide a thing called reality. Reality. Delivering helpful information. Sometimes we just need somebody to, give us some insights, some data, some facts we need that we don't have. Sometimes we kind of need a Yoda figure to help us figure out something with the kids or marriage or dating or work or career. A couple called me and brought their son in. They had a struggle, a 12-year-old boy with conduct problems, which means he was defiant. He had problems in behavior towards other kids, bad grades, and he was sort of in trouble and just kind of out there. And so as I'm talking to mom and dad, I could tell there was a problem between them and their parenting, because she was saying, I think we need to set some reasonable boundaries here. Anybody ever heard the word boundaries? Some word that's out there. And I said, I think there's some reason, like time out or social media or whatever, or take away, social time. And the dad said, no, you're being too harsh. You're being too mean. You're legalistic with him. He just needs love and encouragement. Love and encouragement. And I watched the kid for about 10 minutes, and I go, he needs more than love and encouragement. There was a tornado force running around my room. So I said, I think there's more than love and encouragement. No, you guys are being too mean. So I said, I got to dig down into your head a little bit, to the dad. So we dug down into him. It took a while. Guess what we found? He was raised by a very harsh father. Very, very critical father. The kind of dad that always moves the goalpost. You know, can't ever please him. If you make a B, he says, why didn't you make a B plus? You make a B plus, he says, why didn't you make an A? And when you make the A, he says, why didn't you make a? And it's really hard, and you never can please him. And so he had this mantra in his head of, I'm never going to do this to anybody again. Because in his brain, any kind of criticism or boundary or anything negative was harsh and mean. And the aha came on in him at the session when he went, wait a minute, I'm a better dad than my father. I'm engaged with my kids. I'm with them. I relate to them. I'm not harsh. I'm trying to protect my son from my father, but I'm his dad. And my wife's right. Just some reasonable love and boundaries is going to help. And they united. Now, he had to do some work. The dad had to do some work. He had to forgive his dad and heal from his dad's criticism. He had to strengthen himself. We did it. And he was a great father and a great parental unit. And the kid's fine now. The issue is we need reality sometimes. Proverbs 19:20. Listen to advice and accept discipline. At the end, you will be counted among the wise. Quadrant 3, reality. Quadrant 4, calling to action. Calling to action, which means pushing people to a practical step, a doing step, a behavioral step. We all need to do things sometimes. Now, all of you folks that are into the execution and the advice, and you feel like I've been shutting you down because I said you just got to listen, now you're unleashed. All of you advice addicts can give advice all day now. However, first you got to get in the well. No advice till you're in the well, unless the plane's crashing in 2 seconds or something. James 1:22, do not merely listen to the word, but do not merely listen to the word and so deceive yourselves, but do what it says. We all need practical advice. I was working with a family in another part of the country, and one of the young men in the family is a wonderful man. He's got great kids. He's a wonderful dad. He's a wonderful husband. But as he's kind of figuring out life in his 30s, not a lot of time for his spiritual growth, his God peace, and not a lot of time for self-care. And he was saying, I don't have that habit. I'm a good dad, I'm a good husband, but I kind of blow off the rest. And I said, oh, you want some help? He said, sure. I said, well, start taking small bites. Small bites with God, small bites with people, with your self-care, and we'll build up. And I said, but I want to add something to that because whenever I help somebody, I want to have some skin in the game too. I want to be committed. I said, tell you what, habits take time. For 7 days, I'll send you a little nice text. Not a mean text, but a nice little encouraging text. Just to get the habit, I'll say something like, hey, thinking about you today, make sure you got time for God and for you. He says, thanks. Every day I did it for 7 days. And then I stopped in day 7 and I said, okay, was that helpful? He goes, yeah, thank you so much. It made a difference. Advice is good. Steps are good. Solutions are good. Just do it when you also are there emotionally with people. So, those are the quadrants. Those are the nutrients. That's how it works. That's how God uses the horizontal to keep us healthy with positivity and resilience and energy. And those are God's promises from the Bible that things go well if you do that. So let's look at some next steps. Number 1, which nutrients can you request from somebody who's safe this week? You might say, I need advice, or I need wisdom. I just need somebody to encourage me. You might say, I just need somebody to shut up and listen. Find the right person. They'll be honored. On the other side, which nutrients can you provide for another person this week? It's probably somebody in your life that needs presence or good or reality or action steps. Who needs that? Your kid, your grandkid, somebody you're dating, somebody you're married to, somebody in your business. Reach out to them. You know, this is why I feel so great to be a part of the Saddleback family, because Saddleback is very strong in small groups. And that's where you can find your people fuel. You can find these things in a great group in Saddleback. You have a connection card. We really believe in the connection card because this is about the next steps for you. And you may want to say, you know, I don't have anybody in the well with me. We'll help you find a small group. Or you might say, I am close to finding out about Jesus. We want to help you find out about Jesus. Or you might say, I just need a prayer because I got a bad thing going on in my life. Fill out the connection card. Whatever the need is, just fill it out. Give yourself the grace of a few seconds of filling it out. Hand it in on your way out. And that's how it works. So, hope that's helpful. And God bless you guys. Thank you.
Thanks for checking out Saddleback's message on YouTube. My name is Jay and I'm Saddleback's online campus pastor. And I'm here to help you take your next step in your faith because we all need to grow. 1 Samuel 2:26 says, "And the boy Samuel continued to grow in stature and in favor with the Lord and with people." Samuel was chosen at a young age by God to be a prophet, but he didn't remain a child. He grew in size and spiritually by taking growth steps. Jesus too grew in wisdom and in stature. Christ didn't remain a child. He matured over his short time on earth. One of the funniest but harshest verses is in Hebrews 5:12. It says, "You've been believers so long now that you ought to be teaching others. Instead, you need someone to teach you again the basic things about God's word. You are like babies who need milk and cannot eat solid food." The writer is saying to these followers of Jesus that they need to grow up. They may be adults physically, but spiritually, they are babies. I don't know about you, but I do not want to be a baby. I want to be a healthy adult, and that means I need to be continually growing. So what does that mean for you? Couple options. First, we would love to help you get plugged into one of our Saddleback Church campuses. We have many locations in Southern California and even internationally. Second, we could even help you find the nearest local church if there isn't a Saddleback location near you. And lastly, you can get into our online community by joining an online group that meets on Zoom or Skype and start Class 101 to learn what it means to be engaged with our church family from a distance by launching a gathering in your house. But here's the deal. We can only help you take a next step if you let us know you're watching right now. So take a moment and text 1-949-608-6637 or email online@saddleback.com that you want to grow. My team would love to answer any questions about our campuses, a local church nearby, or something about our online community. Looking forward to talking really soon. Thanks for watching.